I think because the man is always ready, he most of the times will be going on to the female. Most men would prefer every now and then if that role is actually reversed. Every once in a while, come on to the man and, make him feel like he is wanted.
So remember, we are on what you want the woman to do, and you're saying to stroke your ego, to encourage you, to support you, to respect you. Yes, right. Is there any other in this limited time you want to talk about what you want them to do?
Recommend. Yeah,
which is important to a man. A woman to a man.
Yes, and I maybe could bring something up. I mean, when we did the survey, I noticed that most of the men focus a lot on sex and also attractiveness and things like those. Maybe that's something that we could flesh out a little more.
We do expect our women to present themselves looking attractive most of the time. A lot of men would find it very, 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 very sad, if after you've been in the marriage or after you've been in the relationship that your woman is not keeping herself up to present almost that same type of attraction that attracted you to her originally. So we do want our women to look attractive. We do want them to take care of themselves and continue maintaining themselves and so forth and take pride in how them carry themselves, and we do appreciate it and we do want that.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I think sex is very, very important in a relationship. Right? And there's this difference, however, wherein the man is always ready for sex before he goes to bed. You wake up in the morning, he's ready. You don't need to have a lot of conversation. He's ready, and it's not so for the women, right? No. I think because the man is always ready, he most of the times will be going on to the female, right? Most men would prefer every now and then if that role is actually reversed. Every once in a while, come on to the man and, make him feel like he is wanted, or let him feel like you're attracted to him. That is important to a man.
That's important in a relationship.
Yes. So as it relates to sex, it must not only be the man who's initiating.
We want women to initiate it as well.
Oh yeah, that's what you're saying.
Yeah,
that's what you're saying.
I know you would agree, brother.
Definitely. I'm just waiting for the don't to come on, so we can get her on with the don't.
All right. Well, let us go over to the don'ts then, Natalie, because it was so difficult, it seemed initially, for the men to speak of the do's, because I don't know if the don'ts are.
I don't necessarily. No, I don't think they're few per se.
Yes.
But I think it is important that you find some things to do together. I think it is very important.
Yes.
It may be planning vacations.
Yeah.
Do it together. Planning a road trip is important. Find a book that is interesting. Both of you read in your own time. Set a time to meet and discuss it. Just do things together. I think that is very important. Make time to do things together.
Right. So,
Interesting.
got you there.
The don'ts.
Right. So let's then see if we can hasten on to that other segment before we close out the don'ts. The question is, what are some of the things that as men you are saying to women in relationship, in marriage, these are some things that men don't like, so don't do it to men or your man?
Let me start since my wife is not here. So we do know that people are not perfect, right? And from time to time, I think it is important in a relationship that you point out faults, right? Point them out. deal with them, decide, strategies going forward, hold people accountable, encourage people as we go along. Don't focus solely on pointing out my faults. There has to be some balance, right? I expect you to point out the fault, right?
Yes.
Because for me, that's a sign of maturity in a relationship. I have an issue with what you're doing. I don't think it is right. Is there something that we can do to change this or to fix this? Fine. But if every single day you have a fault with every single thing, I am going to become resentful, right? But suppose we balance it. I like what you did yesterday with the kids. I like the fact that you called to find out if I'm okay. Yes. You see, when you balance it, it is easier to deal with the critique in a positive way.
Right.
Yeah.
So highlight my faults, fine, and I will treat with them. But I will treat with them much better if you also give genuine compliments, from time to time. And nobody wants to be in a relationship where every single day all they hear is that, I have a fault with you this, or I have a fault with you. But, make time. Keep it balanced.
So the summary is, do not pester me with fault findings about me. Be balanced.
Be balanced.
Right.
Be balanced.
There's a pestering that is, and women have a gift in nagging. They will defend themselves when they come on the set. I'm just saying,
I want Mark to respond to that.
I'm here to respond. For me, the number one thing,
this is your platform,
my platform. I'm speaking on behalf of all the men across the world, across the nation. Number one, do not hold back on sex, regardless of, because we don't want women to say, what kind of this inaugural sex? Right. When it comes to the sex, there is no negotiating. Sex with money. Yes. When you get money already, sex with this and that. Because in reality, we men can have sex when we're sick, whether we're happy, when we're sad, when we come from church, before we go to church, right? Just about any time. So for men,
I'm happy that you mentioned whilst at church, but continue.
Right? We love sex so much. I'm gonna find it extreme. Probably this is the reason why you will have a lot of men go out there and cheat as well. Don't say but men love and appreciate sex.
So the temperature doesn't have to be a certain way at all for men when it comes to sex. That's what you're saying.
That's basically it. I wouldn't want dead with you sex.
But Mark, so what you are saying, let me help you from the scriptures.
I thought he was a church boy.
Not withhold thyself. Essentially.
Definitely.
From thy spouse.
Definitely.
All right. So, in fact, in our ministries, in our couples room, the expression that the men use, they say, the shop should never be locked.
No.
It must always be open 24/7 for business. Yes?
Except from, the few occasions.
Right. But the women are saying,
temperature has to be
yes, you are the same one who say that we are wired differently. You quote that convenient.
Yes.
That women are wired. Men are compartmentalized, yes? And so that is why you can have a tracing match and you hug up afterwards and everything is all right. And the woman needs time because this morning, because you had not say thanks or because whatever, it connects to this evening going into tonight because that is not resolved yet.
Right.
Yes?
That's it.
Then, but it's all right for you to think that business place should be open for transaction all the while. But how do you balance that out? What is it that you are really saying with this kind of backdrop and reality of the woman? What are you saying to her? Are you saying, notwithstanding that I know that your emotions still tie up and you're not free to flow with me, I should still be pretending? What are we saying?
With that, definitely I would agree to a lot of extent. However, what will have happening in most of the cases is that, for instance, when we have something, or for example, even though we discussed earlier, say if man can even have sex even after a argument with a woman. However, you might find that if the man ego is bruised, that may cause a difference for him not to feel sexual towards his spouse and so. But the reality is that we do understand, right? Most men do understand, especially I do understand that women sometimes have other things that is normally on their mind. And we have to find some way how to work together to resolve that as best as possible. Because all things will be resolved in a timely manner. For instance, if so we have a financial issue, for instance, just cross motor,
A good one.
and even though we may have a financial issue, the men can compartmentalize, separate that emotion, that thought, and focus on sex during that period of time, while the woman may find it even more difficult because her mind may be on dealing with this issue at hand. Then we may come to a point in which we may have a challenge there, being that the instant need of the man is sex, while the instant need of the woman may be satisfying this issue. However, this issue may take a prolonged period of time to be dissolved, for instance, financially. Yeah. So probably need better planning, or however long. It can be that the man should wait however long it takes to satisfy this problem before sexual engagement continues.
Gotcha. So there needs to be a ground of compromise and working through those issues. But the point taken, do not withhold thyself is what you are saying. All right, great.
Yes.
So any other don'ts? I know there are many others, but just raise one or two more before we
one
wrap
thing
the
I've
session.
found with women, which make women extremely great and wonderful, and which also is like a two-edged sword, is that their ability to critique in terms of what is definitely good and can improve the man's, whether that be behavior or going towards something or even his attitude towards certain things, Right. And at the same time, how it is done is also may also be a problem. I'm going to give you some simple instances where I say, most men might go through, and most women might also. First, I mentioned it earlier when we talk about even like parking a vehicle.
Yes.
Women want a vehicle to be parked a particular way. Right? Oh, you need to park the vehicle facing this way and that way because I always said the reason why. And for instance, Natalie would tell me the reason why. The clothes need to be hung up a particular way. So just in case of emergency, you can pull this out. For me, it's always why. And they tell me the reason why. So what I know with the women, they are so detailed. And they're detailed with almost anything and everything. And a lot of women who are also educated and pretty much intelligent, they would actually bring this knowledge, also this way of looking on things and looking through things and doing things into the relationship and also into the married house, So now everything will be now improved, and which is a good thing, Right, definitely good thing. But it's the constant improvement of these things constantly. You need to do this, or you need to do, the meter. And even though it is good, and you see where it is important and where it is necessary, it can become a little bit tedious over a period of time.
Yes.
Annoying.
And definitely.
Sometimes it could be bordering on a little disorder.
I think there's some issues that cannot be dealt with one or two conversations, right? For me, one of the don't is when it's time for intimacy. Don't raise those nagging issues that we're still trying to sort out.
But just a question then. What happens if we raise it during that time? How can you help us to relax? Because we raise it because we're not relaxed. How can you help us?
Mark, answer your wife. Answer your wife. No, well, the reality, yes. because that is on your mind, it will be raised. But what you need to understand is that raising it at that point may breed resentment on the part of the man. So now, instead of having just one problem, which is whatever that issue was, now you add another layer to the problem of resentment because the man's sexual need is put on hold. Right? So, again, balance is very, very important. In the relationship, there must be a focus on each other, right? A need to try and, understand the emotional need of each person, and also a commitment to try and, satisfy those needs, right? But once we have that understanding, it becomes easier to interact, to communicate. But we have to give and take, right? But for me, when I am ready for intimacy, don't raise those issues. Do not raise those issues.
You know what's funny? One thing that I observe with myself, is that one thing why I say sex is so important. Sometimes when Natalie and I would have disagreements, Natalie is the person that two should forget, and the person who normally carries with me a bit more. So I'll be upset a little longer. But I'm not the type of person that's going to say something to make you feel like, to say something bad to make you feel hurt. But what I do, I withdraw myself into silence, right? And
that kills.
But what normally challenge me, Foster, is when I say, right, if I withdraw myself into silence, I feel good. However, night I come. Somebody will find someone here.
Well, this is going to be unending. We have to put the lid on this one. Quite explosive. It is for the audience to see and to make their own conclusions. The seemingly inescapable, unavoidable overtone and emphasis of what men seem to like more than anything else dominate in the ending of this episode here, talking about the intimacy. But such is the contrast as we have tried to expose the do's and the don'ts of the men and the women. In fairness, the women are going to have their day, and we look forward to that. Yes. But so far as this is concerned, Natalie, it has been a very exciting time talking to real men, real married men who were confident enough to speak the men issues and feel comfortable that they can go home tonight.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Mark. Thank you so much, Oral. I just want to thank our viewers again. I want to thank our sponsor, Mattox Health and Fitness, our resident producer, George Malcolm Walker, our program director, Damian Diaguilar. Thanks to our wonderful viewers. I just want to remind you to subscribe to our YouTube channel at New Foundation Christian Ministries. Like us on Facebook at New Foundation Christian Ministries and on Instagram at B1 Marriage Ministry. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.
See you next time.